There are moments in life when the air around you shifts, when something inside you begins to rise, when an unseen force whispers to your soul, "Get ready, your time has come." And if you are hearing this message today, it is not by accident. God has aligned this moment with destiny. God has timed this word with precision. God has positioned you on the edge of something extraordinary, because whether you believe it fully yet or not, God is making you the family's first millionaire. Not for pride, not for ego, not for show, but because God has seen the tears your family cried, the years of struggle they endured, the dreams that were buried, the opportunities they never received, the generational burdens they silently carried. And God has decided the cycle ends with you. The lack ends with you. The limitation ends with you. The curse ends with you. I will raise someone in this family who will break what others could not break, rise where others could not rise, build what others could not build, and receive what others were denied. And God chose you. You may not feel qualified. You may not feel prepared. You may not feel like the one who should carry this mantle. But God does not call the qualified. God qualifies the called. God does not choose the perfect. God perfects the chosen. God does not wait for you to become strong. God strengthens you through the calling itself. Every weakness you see in yourself is nothing compared to the strength God is about to pour into you. Every limitation you've held on to is nothing compared to the abundance God is releasing toward you. Every fear that has tried to suffocate your potential is nothing compared to the future God has already designed for you. Because when God decides to elevate a person, no force on earth can hold them down. When God decides to bless a bloodline, no curse can continue. When God decides to open a door, no system, no person, no enemy, no circumstance can keep it shut. And right now, God has set his eyes on you as the vessel of wealth, breakthrough, transformation, and generational change. You are not just rising for yourself, you are rising for everyone connected to you. You are stepping into abundance not only to experience it, but to establish as the new standard for those who come after you. You are breaking ceilings, so the next generation will only know floors. You are stepping through open doors, so your children and grandchildren do not have to fight the same battles. You are rewriting the family story, so what once was considered impossible becomes normal. You are becoming the evidence that God can lift someone from humble beginnings and place them at the table of abundance. God has chosen you to be the first millionaire in your family because God sees what others have overlooked. God sees your heart humble, willing, teachable, resilient. God sees your potential far deeper than anyone has ever spoken over you. God sees your hunger not for money alone, but for purpose, for change, for impact. God sees the hidden strength inside you that you do not even fully recognize yet. God sees the nights you stayed awake, thinking there must be more for your life. God sees the times you almost gave up, but didn't. God sees every moment when you felt invisible, forgotten, or unworthy, yet still kept pushing. And God is saying now, because you remained faithful in the unseen, I will reward you in the open. Because you kept going when everything tried to break you, I will elevate you above what tried to stop you. Because you carried burdens nobody else knew about, I will give you blessings everybody will see. Because you survived what should have destroyed you, I will expand you beyond what you dreamed. You may not come from wealth, but wealth is about to come from you. You may not have inherited abundance, but abundance will be inherited because of you. You may not have grown up surrounded by financial wisdom, but God is about to give you understanding, insight, strategy, discipline, and clarity that will shock even you. God is about to lead you into opportunities that others will call luck, but you will know it was God's hand. God is about to bring the right people into your life, people who carry knowledge, who bring connections, who speak wisdom, who elevate your thinking, who refine your vision, and who help accelerate your purpose. The reason God did not let you quit during your lowest seasons is because you were carrying more than your own life. You were carrying a generation. The reason you couldn't walk away from the dream is because God planted it. The reason you still feel a stirring in your spirit is because God has not finished with you. The reason you survived storms that crushed others is because God preserved you. The reason people left you, doubted you, or misunderstood you is because God was setting the stage for your unveiling. The reason you have always felt different, even inside your own family, is because you were chosen for a different destiny. And now your destiny is calling louder than ever. God is teaching you to think bigger because small thinking no longer fits your future. God is stretching you because comfort cannot carry you into abundance. God is refining you because character must match blessing. God is removing distractions because the calling on your life requires focus. God is revealing who is for you and who is against you because elevation requires separation. God is changing your appetite. What once satisfied you no longer does because the old version of you cannot walk into the new season God is preparing. Understand this clearly. Becoming the first millionaire in your family is not simply about money. It is about stewardship. It is about responsibility. It is about healing what was broken. It is about reversing generational patterns. It is about creating a future built on wisdom, strength, discipline, and spiritual grounding. It is about becoming the anchor that stabilizes your family, the pillar that supports them, the example that inspires them, and the proof that God is able. You are called to build what they never had. You are called to create stability where there was instability. You are called to open doors they didn't even know existed. You are called to sow seeds that will feed the family tree for generations. You are called to shift the mindset of your lineage from survival, abundance, from fear to confidence, from limitation to expansion. But let me tell you the truth. When God is preparing someone for generational wealth, the path is not always smooth. Before God brings elevation, God brings preparation. Before God releases abundance, God strengthens discipline. Before God introduces opportunities, God removes distractions. Before God brings multiplication, God teaches stewardship. Before God trusts you with more, God watches how you handle less. You have gone through seasons of isolation because God needed your attention. You have gone through seasons of struggle because they built resilience. You have gone through seasons of delay because God was aligning the right timing. You have gone through seasons of rejection because God was protecting you from the wrong people. You have gone through seasons of confusion because God was reshaping your identity. You have gone through seasons of stretching because small capacity cannot hold big blessings. God has been training you quietly for the role of generational leader. Every setback was a classroom. Every disappointment was a teacher. Every failure refined you. Every hardship sharpened you. Every closed door redirected you. Every betrayal taught you discernment. Every loss taught you appreciation. Every challenge strengthened your spirit. And every silent night built a quiet fire. Inside you, a fire that told you there is more. Keep going. Don't stop. And now God is saying, the more you felt was real. The calling you sensed was divine. The vision you carried was intentional. The passion, your heart was placed there by me. And the season you are stepping into will confirm everything I whispered to you in private. You are rising not by accident, not by luck, not by coincidence, but by divine design. God Himself is orchestrating your elevation. God Himself is positioning your steps. God Himself is enlarging your territory. God Himself is opening opportunities that require favor, not qualifications. God Himself is removing obstacles that were meant to slow you down. God Himself is aligning connections that will accelerate your progress. God Himself is preparing a future that will amaze even those who doubted you. And mark this, when God raises you, the same people who underestimated you will witness your transformation. The same people who ignored you will hear your name. The same people who talked about you will watch your rise. The same people who disrespected you will have no choice but to respect what God has done through you. The same people who expected your failure will be forced to see your success. God will not elevate you quietly. God will elevate you undeniably. But as you rise, God is also shaping your heart. Because becoming the first millionaire in your family is not just about gaining wealth, it's about carrying wisdom. It's about staying grounded. It's about moving with humility. It's about remembering where you came from. It's about honoring those who supported you in the struggle. It's about protecting your character more than your possessions. It's about valuing purpose over pride, integrity over image, discipline over desire. God is raising you not only to acquire wealth, but to manage it, to multiply it, to invest it, to protect it, to grow it, to use it for good. God is preparing you to become the person the family runs to for guidance, stability, support, and direction. The one who leads with clarity, the one who speaks with authority, the one who thinks with wisdom, the one who moves with purpose, the one who stands firm when others shake. Because the truth is this: wealth without wisdom destroys. Wealth without humility corrupts. Wealth without discipline evaporates. Wealth without purpose empties the soul. And that is why God is molding you into a person who can carry both abundance and accountability. God is teaching you to rise without arrogance. God is teaching you to succeed without forgetting. God is teaching you to elevate without separating. God is teaching you to prosper without losing your identity. God is teaching you to expand without becoming ungrateful. God is teaching you to break barriers without breaking your character. And as God shapes you on the inside, God will begin blessing you on the outside. There will come a moment soon when everything begins to accelerate. Doors will open that were once shut. Ideas will come to you with clarity. People will appear who carry what you need. Opportunities will align in ways that feel supernatural. Strategies will form in your mind with ease. Solutions will flow effortlessly. The right conversations will happen at the right time. And wealth will begin to move toward you like a river whose dam has finally broken. And when this happens, remember, it was God who chose you. It was God who sustained you. It was God who lifted you. It was God who strengthened you. It was God who carried you. It was God who made a way. And it is God who will continue to guide your steps. You are stepping into a destiny that was written long before you were born. You are stepping into a season your ancestors prayed for but never saw. You are stepping into blessings your parents dreamed of but could not reach. You are stepping into a financial level nobody in your bloodline has touched. You are stepping into a role that will change everything. You are the shift. You are the turning point. You are the breakthrough. You are the generational blessing. You are the proof that God can raise someone from the bottom and place them into abundance. And as you step into this new chapter, understand one final truth: when God makes you the first millionaire in your family, God is not just giving you money. God is giving you a mission to build, a mission to heal, a mission to restore, a mission to uplift, a mission to guide, a mission to impact, a mission to rewrite the legacy of your name. When God chooses someone to elevate, the transformation never begins on the outside. It begins in the deep chambers of the heart. And right now, God is reshaping the inner world of your spirit, because the outer blessing He is preparing for you is too big to rest on an unstable foundation. God is stretching your capacity so you can carry wealth without being crushed by it, so you can handle abundance without being consumed by it. So you can manage responsibility without being overwhelmed by it. God knows that if the foundation is not strengthened, the blessing will collapse. So God starts with the unseen before revealing the undeniable. God is whispering to your soul that this next level requires a new level of thinking. The mindset that helped you survive cannot be the mindset that helps you prosper. The thoughts that once kept you safe cannot be the thoughts that help you multiply. God is renewing your mind because prosperity begins with thought, discipline begins with vision, and abundance begins with a belief that God is able. God is removing the limited thinking you inherited from generations before you, thoughts of scarcity, fear, lack, unworthiness, because you cannot walk into unlimited blessings while carrying limited beliefs. God is expanding your inner vision until your faith surpasses your fears, your expectation rises higher than your doubts, and your confidence becomes anchored not in your own strength, but in God's power working within you. God is declaring that you are no longer allowed to shrink to fit the expectations of others. This season calls you to rise, to expand, to stand tall, to carry yourself with the quiet strength of someone who knows God is backing every step. And when God backs you, you do not walk like everyone else. You do not think like everyone else. You do not speak like everyone else. You move with purpose. You act with clarity. You stand with boldness. You speak with conviction, because you are not depending on human approval. You are depending on divine guidance. This is why God has been separating you from certain people and environments, because the calling on your life requires a different atmosphere, a different influence, a different level of focus. Everyone cannot go with you, because everyone cannot handle where you are going. Some people are assigned to your past, but not your future. Some voices are meant to be silenced, so God's voice can be heard more clearly. God is removing people who drain your strength, so God can surround you with people who sharpen it. God is distancing you from those who pull you backward, so God can draw you toward those who push you forward. This elevation is too important to allow the wrong connections to sabotage it. There is a reason God places strong callings on unlikely people, because unlikely people depend on God more deeply. You know what it feels like to start with little. You know what it feels like to struggle alone. You know what it feels like to fight battles silently. You know what it feels like to build without applause, to grow without support, to believe without confirmation. And God loves to take people who had to fight in the dark and bless them in the light. Because when God elevates someone who came from humble beginnings, the glory goes to God, not to human effort. But understand this: God is not blessing you just to break poverty. God is blessing you to break narratives. The world may have labeled your family with words like average, ordinary, limited, struggling, but God is rewriting the story. God is replacing limitation with expansion, fear with courage, doubt with confidence, and survival with prosperity. You are not just stepping into wealth, you are stepping into identity. You are stepping into purpose. You are stepping into authority. You are stepping into the truth that God has spoken over you long before you knew who you were. And God wants you to realize that wealth is more than numbers. It is influence. It is power. It is the ability to make decisions that shift the direction of generations. It is the ability to give instead of beg, to build instead of struggle, to create instead of chase, to support instead of collapse. God is preparing you to operate in influence with wisdom, integrity, and spiritual grounding. Because wealth in the hands of someone guided by God becomes a force of good that cannot be stopped. Some of you feel a restlessness inside, a deep spiritual stirring that you cannot explain. That stirring is God pulling you out of old levels and pushing you toward your destiny. You are not restless, because something is wrong. You are restless because something greater is calling you. God is pushing you to dream bigger, think bigger, plan bigger, act bigger, because small vision cannot hold the magnitude of what God is about to release. And as God increases your vision, God is also increasing your discipline. Blessings without discipline become burdens. Abundance without boundaries becomes chaos. Growth without order becomes collapse. That is why God is teaching you patience, consistency, responsibility, and strategic action. Because God is not giving you wealth for a moment. God is giving you wealth for a lifetime and for generations that will follow. God is building in you the strength required for longevity, not momentary success. There will come a moment when you will realize that everything you thought was holding you back was actually preparing you. Every struggle taught you endurance. Every disappointment taught you clarity. Every closed door taught you patience. Every delay taught you trust. Every betrayal taught you discernment. Every loss taught you gratitude. Every hardship taught you resilience. And all of it was shaping you into the kind of person God can elevate without hesitation. Because wealth without humility becomes self-destruction. Wealth without gratitude becomes emptiness. Wealth without purpose becomes meaningless. But wealth placed in the hands of someone who has been trained by God becomes a tool of transformation. And you are being shaped into someone who will use abundance wisely, carry responsibility strongly, and move in purpose boldly. God is getting ready to show you that one moment of divine favor can accomplish what 10 years of effort could not. God is getting ready to align the right conversation, the right connection, the right door, the right opportunity, the right idea, and the right timing. God is getting ready to make a way in places where you had no blueprint, no guidance, no mentor, and no example. God is getting ready to put you in rooms your family never entered, bring you to tables your ancestors never saw, and place you in positions that once seemed unreachable. And in those moments, remember, you are not walking in by accident. You are walking in by appointment. You are not entering by luck. You are entering by divine ordination. You are not rising by your own power. You are rising by God's will. God is not just preparing you for wealth. God is preparing you for responsibility. God is preparing you to be the one the family looks to when they need direction, the one who can see beyond the present, the one who carries wisdom with strength, the one who stands firm when others shake, the one who speaks with authority because they do not speak from ego, they speak from divine conviction. And when God blesses you, do not shrink, do not hide, do not fear the blessing, do not second guess the calling. Walk boldly, step confidently, move with certainty. Because the moment you doubt yourself, you are doubting the God who chose you. God does not make mistakes choosing his vessels. If God selected you, it is because God saw something in you no one else could see. God saw your endurance. God saw your loyalty. God saw your capacity. God saw your potential. God saw your spirit. God saw your strength. God saw your humility. God saw what you could become. Even when you were surrounded by circumstances that tried to tell you who you could not be, you will rise. Because God decided you will. You will prosper. Because God has written prosperity into your destiny. You will break the generational limitations because God has empowered you to do so. You will step into wealth because the assignment on your life requires it. You will become the first millionaire in your family because God has chosen you as the one who will change the history of your lineage. There comes a point in every chosen person's journey when God begins to elevate them in ways they never imagined, not because they are perfect, not because they have everything figured out, but because God has seen the posture of their heart. God has seen the sincerity in your intentions, the purity in your struggle, the honesty in your prayer, and the quiet strength you carried even when nobody understood the weight resting on your shoulders. God watched you battle storms that should have broken you, yet somehow you stood back up. God saw the moments when you could have taken the easy path, but you chose integrity instead. God observed the nights when you whispered prayers with trembling hands, hoping someone heard you. And God did. This is why elevation is coming. This is why prosperity is coming. This is why generational wealth is coming. You didn't chase it, it was assigned to you. You didn't beg for it, it was written for you. You didn't force it, God formed it. And now God is beginning to release what has been prepared long before you knew you would carry this mantle. God is shaping you into someone who understands that abundance is not merely a blessing, it is a test. A test of responsibility, a test of character, a test of discipline, a test of stewardship. When God places wealth in your hands, it is not to inflate your ego, but to expand your impact. It is not to elevate you above your family, but to elevate your family with you. It is not to create pride, but to create purpose. It is not to feed greed, but to break generational need. You are being trusted with resources not to hoard, but to build. Not to boast, but to lift. Not to dominate, but to transform. Wealth without purpose is noise. Wealth without humility is destruction. Wealth without spiritual grounding is emptiness, but wealth directed by God becomes a stream that waters dry fields. It becomes a tool that builds bridges where division once stood. It becomes a shield that protects your lineage from the struggles you were forced to survive. When God elevates you, the blessing is not meant to stop at your hands, it is meant to flow through you, so that future generations rise without carrying the burdens you carried. That is why your preparation season has felt so intense. God has been clearing the inner clutter, removing emotional debris, healing old wounds, strengthening your spirit, sharpening your discernment, and teaching you to hear His guidance with clarity. Because where God is taking you, you cannot afford confusion. You cannot afford spiritual deafness. You cannot afford being swayed by opinions. You cannot rely on impulse. You cannot build on emotion. You must walk with the authority of someone who knows God's voice and trusts it above all. And trust is the key. Trusting God when the evidence isn't visible. Trusting God when the resources haven't arrived yet. Trusting God when you don't know the next step. Trusting God when your plan collapses, so God's plan can rise. Trusting God when doors close, because that closure was protection. Trusting God when people walk away, because their exit was alignment. Trusting God even when the process feels unfair, because the preparation always feels heavier for those chosen to carry greater weight. God allowed certain hardships not to weaken you, but to deepen you. God permitted certain losses not to punish you, but to prune you. God let some people betray you not to break your spirit, but to break your dependence on them. God let some opportunities fall apart so your destiny could fall into place. Every painful moment contained a lesson. Every setback carried a purpose. Every disappointment redirected you towards something better, even when you did not understand it at the time. This is the mystery of divine elevation. God uses the lowest valleys to build the strongest foundation. God uses the darkest nights to shape the brightest future. God uses silence to sharpen your spiritual hearing. God uses pressure to refine your strength. God uses stillness to teach patience. God uses trials to shape wisdom. Everything you went through was part of the molding, the sculpting, the refining process required for someone destined to carry the blessing you are about to walk into. And now, God is preparing to elevate you publicly because you endured privately. God is preparing to honor you because you remained humble. God is preparing to multiply you because you were faithful with the little you had. God is preparing to take you where your family has never gone. You had the courage to believe the future could be different. But hear this clearly, prosperity requires separation. God cannot elevate you while you cling to environments that suffocate your growth. God cannot bless you at the level He desires while you remain connected to people who drain your energy, limit your vision, or poison your spirit. There are people who cannot go where God is taking you because their mindset is too small. Their intentions are not pure, or their presence would sabotage your blessing. God is not being cruel, God is being protective. Some connections break not because you failed, but because God intervened. Some friendships fade, not because you outgrew Him, but because God is guiding you. Some relationships collapse, not because they were bad, but because they weren't part of the destiny God designed. Elevation demands space. To rise, you must release. To receive, you must let go. To advance, you must detach from what was only meant for a previous chapter. And God will continue removing what cannot remain until your spirit is free enough to carry what is coming. Do not fight the separations, honor them. They are proof that God is taking you higher. God is also enlarging your internal capacity to handle prosperity. Wealth is not sustained by money alone. It is sustained by vision, discipline, character, and obedience. You cannot manage millions with the habits of a person who has only experienced scarcity. You cannot build generational legacy with the emotional patterns that were formed in survival mode. You cannot lead your family into abundance with the insecurities you carried from childhood. That is why God is reshaping your thinking, renewing your identity, and strengthening your spiritual spine. God is teaching you to manage your emotions like someone who is building something that matters. God is teaching you to silence fear, because fear has no place in a destiny this large. God is teaching you to stand firm in your decisions, because a wavering mind cannot guide generations. God is teaching you discipline, because the absence of discipline destroys what blessings create. God is training your eyes to recognize opportunities with clarity. God is training your spirit to sense misalignment instantly. God is training your heart to remain humble no matter how high you rise. You are becoming the kind of person elevation can trust, because elevation is not random, elevation is intentional. God does not bless people who are careless with consequences. God does not elevate people who are reckless with responsibility. God does not increase people who refuse to grow. God elevates those who are willing to be shaped, refined, corrected, strengthened, and matured. And you have shown God that you are willing to grow. You have shown God that you can endure pressure. You have shown God that you can rise from adversity. You have shown God that you can carry pain without becoming bitter. You have shown God that you can stand alone without collapsing. You have shown God that you can lose people without losing faith. And because you have shown God your resilience, God is preparing to show you His favor. Doors will open that your family never walked through. Tables will welcome you that your ancestors were never invited to. Opportunities will find you that seemed impossible for generations before you. Wealth will begin flowing where poverty once settled. And abundance will become the new story of your lineage. Not because you are better than those before you, but because you are chosen to build what they could not. You are chosen to carry what they didn't have the strength to carry. You are chosen to rise where they were held down. You are chosen to break what broke them. You are chosen to walk into spaces they never reached. You are chosen to rewrite the destiny of your bloodline. And when God chooses, no voice can cancel it. No enemy can block it. No force can stop it. No circumstance can derail it. No season can hinder it. No person can reverse it. You are being positioned. You are being strengthened. You are being refined. You are being elevated. You are being entrusted. You are being prepared for prosperity that will outlive you.